All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today we're jumping headfirst into a really tricky topic, multi-account management. We're going to break down the two main ways pros handle this. Basically, is it better to build digital walls or wear digital masks? Let's get right into it.
Okay, so here's the question that keeps people in SEO, e-commerce, and digital ads up at night, right? How in the world do you manage dozens, maybe even hundreds of online accounts without everything getting linked, flagged, or worse, banned? I mean, it's a total minefield. One wrong move, one little cookie shared between accounts, and poof, it's all over.
So it turns out solving this problem really boils down to two completely different ways of thinking. We're talking about two different philosophies. And it's not just about, opening a new browser window. It's about picking a strategy that actually fits your specific workflow, whether you just need to keep things separate or you need a full-on digital disguise.
And here they are. On one side, you've got isolation. Think of this as building sturdy digital walls between every single one of your accounts. And on the other side, you've got fingerprinting, or what most people call Antidetect. This is all about wearing a completely different digital mask for every account you manage.
Okay, so let's dig in a little deeper. What do these two paths, isolation versus fingerprinting, actually mean when you're using them day to day? Because honestly, getting this difference is absolutely crucial for picking the right tool.
All right, first up, session isolation. I love this analogy. Just imagine every single browser tab is its own private, totally soundproof room. Seriously, whatever happens in one room, cookies, login info, cache, you name it, it stays in that room. Nothing, and I mean nothing, leaks out to the room next door. It's just a super clean, simple, and really powerful way to keep everything separate.
Now for the other side of the coin, browser fingerprinting. Think of this as your device's unique digital, fingerprint. It's a combination of dozens of little data points that websites can see, everything from your graphics card and screen resolution to the specific fonts you have installed in your computer. So what Antidetect tools do is they actively change or spoof this fingerprint for every single profile you create. The goal? To make it look like each account is being used from a totally different, unique device. And here's a really interesting insight. For a lot of everyday professional tasks, like, say, checking ad placements or SEO rankings in different countries, that simple isolation approach is often way more reliable than trying to fake a bunch of complex digital signals. The whole idea here is valuing stability and simplicity over constantly having to tweak and manage a disguise.
Okay, so with that foundation laid, let's talk about the tools themselves. We're going to look at the major players in the Antidetect world. So if you decide, yep, I actually do need that deep, granular fingerprint control, well, these are going to be the names that come up.
So here's a quick look, kind of like a cheat sheet of the whole Antidetect landscape. You can see right away there's a whole range of tools out there. You've got the big enterprise players like Multilogin, and then you have others like AdsPower that are really built for automation. Don't worry, we're going to break these down, but this gives you a fantastic bird's eye view to start.
Okay, let's start with a group I'm calling the all-rounders. These are great for teams. First, you've got Multilogin. It's been around forever, a real industry veteran, and it's built for big teams that need rock-solid control. Then there's GoLogin, which is all about value. You get a ton of profiles for your money. And finally, there's AdsPower, and its secret sauce is the built-in automation. It lets you automate tasks without having to write a single line of code.
All right, next up are the specialists and balancers. First, Chameleon. This one's for the real tech heads out there, the people who are deep into fingerprint research and development. Then you've got Octobrowser, which does a fantastic job of balancing price with some really powerful features and high-profile limits. And Incognito? It's a huge favorite for solo operators or small teams, mostly because its interface is just so clean and easy to use.
And to round things out, we've got the budget and flexible options. Dolphin Anti is a really great budget-friendly way to get started, and it's especially powerful if you're looking into automation. Then there's Undetectable, which has this really unique feature. It lets you choose whether to store your profiles on your own computer or in the cloud. That gives you a ton of flexibility over your data and how you work.
Okay, so that's all the theory and the different tools. But how does this stuff actually work in the real world? Let's walk through a couple of playbooks to see how people are using these tools to solve real, everyday business problems. Okay, playbook number 1, a classic SEO check using an isolation tool. So picture this. You need to see exactly what Google search results look like in the US, the UK, and Germany. Simple. You just spin up 3 totally isolated sessions, slap a region-specific proxy on each one, and run your searches. The beauty is, the results are perfectly clean. There's zero cookie bleed between them.
And get this, you can even share a special link to a live session with a client so they can see for themselves.
All right, now let's look at an Antidetect playbook. Imagine you're an ad agency, right? And you're managing accounts for clients all over the world. For every single client, you create a dedicated browser profile. But here's the key. You actually match the fingerprint, things like the time zone, the language, even the operating system, to that client's actual location. This makes every login look completely natural and authentic. Then you just save those profiles to a team workspace and boom, everyone on your team can use them safely.
Okay, we've covered the strategies, we've looked at the tools, so now for the big question. How do you actually choose? Well, it really just comes down to figuring out what your main goal is.
So let's start with this. Ask yourself, is your number one priority easy and secure team sharing? Is it about staying compliant and just having a simple tool that works right out of the box without needing constant adjustments?
If you found yourself nodding yes to that, then an isolation-first tool is almost certainly what you're looking for. It means you value stability and simplicity, just keeping things separate, more than you need the power and the complexity of faking a digital fingerprint.
But what if that's not you? What if your work is the complete opposite? What if you absolutely need to control every tiny detail of your digital fingerprint to perfectly mimic a specific type of device or user?
Well, then your answer is clear. You need an Antidetect tool. These are literally built for those situations where that detailed spoofing is a must-have, especially on really sensitive platforms like social media networks or e-commerce sites.
And this little chart here really sums it all up nicely. Look at that first bar. If what you care about most is stability and sharing, go for an isolation-first tool. Simple. Now, look at the second bar. If you need that deep, hardcore spoofing, you should be looking at the specialists, like Cameleo or Multilogin. And finally, that third bar. If your decision is driven by price and the need to scale up, that points you toward great options like GoLogin, Octo, or Incogniton. So when it all comes down to it, it's about this one single question you have to ask yourself before you spend a dime. What problem are you really trying to solve? Are you trying to build clean, simple walls, or are you trying to wear convincing, complex masks? Figure that out, and you'll know exactly where to go.